Is the air in the Upside Down really toxic? Where is Dr. Brenner? And how did a secret Russian base end up under a mall? Hi, I'm Clive, and you're watching Awesome Movies. Don't miss our amazing giveaway for Stranger Things fans. A mind-blowing portable Wi-Fi projector, the coolest nightlight lamps, and these superb hoodies. Keep watching to find out all the details. It's as good a time as any to investigate some inconsistencies in the show's plot. Here are some things you may have missed. Who is Chester, and how did we all manage to forget about him? While Stranger Things is synonymous with missing kids and random disappearances, no one is talking about the member of the Byers family, other than Will, of course, who vanished. Yep, we're talking about Will's dog. This cute mutt made a few appearances in the first season, but suddenly vanished without a trace for the second and third seasons. While we don't want to consider the option that his disappearance may have been linked to the presence of the Demogorgons, why did the family pup just disappear? Did the writers forget about man's best friend, or was he just no longer necessary for the story? Either way, that's a bit of a blunder if you ask us. While we're on the subject of Demogorgons, and there's a line I never thought I'd say, there's something else that doesn't make sense. Why did the Demogorgon hunt Will in the first season? The show has been pretty adamant about the fact that these monsters are attracted to blood, kind of like really scary sharks. But that just makes the whole idea of Will's abduction stranger. You see what I did there? Because he wasn't bleeding, so why were they attracted to him? Is it possible that Will has some other strange connection to the Upside Down that made him catch the monster's eye? Or was this just a tragic oversight by the writers? One option is that the monsters aren't actually only attracted by blood, or the rest of the town would see far more of these gruesome guys in their day-to-day lives. Imagine a gym class at Hawkins High when someone scrapes a knee. If they came every time there was blood, it would be a literal nightmare. Maybe our initial perception that they're only attracted by blood is actually what's wrong with this picture. Is 11 the only one who can open gates into the Upside Down? We've been led to believe this, but if that's the case, how did the Demogorgons appear in the woods or the school, where 11 definitely did not open a gate? Also, the Russians managed to open the gate with a laser, so it seems there are actually a few methods to get to the Upside Down. If it's possible for others to open the gate, it makes this dilemma all the more interesting. Does Callie, or 8 if you want to be technical, who we met in Season 2, also have a way to open it? We may not have the answer, but we do know that the various options will make the next season all the more interesting. What happened to Dart? In Season 2, we're introduced to the adorable yet terrifying Dart, a baby Demogorgon that Dustin tries to keep as a pet before it gets out of hand and eats the family cat, as one does. Eventually, Dart gets a little too big to go unnoticed, and his reign of terror is halted when Steve and Dustin put his body in Joyce's freezer. What happened next? Did Joyce open the freezer one day looking for dinner ideas, only to be faced with Dart? That would make for some much-needed comic relief, no doubt. Or did Dart somehow end up being taken away by the scientists? It's a minor detail, but a tragic oversight given the role Dart played in the season. Sadly, he was gone and forgotten. Is the air in the Upside Down really toxic? In the first season, Dr. Brenner explains that the air in the alternate reality is highly toxic, and we assume he discovered this through a seriously unfortunate event. When we later see Joyce and Hopper in the Upside Down, they're dutifully equipped with protective hazmat suits, reinforcing this idea. But if that's the case, how did Will survive in the Upside Down for several days? And why does 11 not need protection when she has to go there? Also, Nancy makes an unprotected trip through the world without having any difficulties breathing, which basically contradicts what we know. This could also be a matter of interpretation. After all, it was a doctor who experimented on children that declared the air to be toxic. And he's not exactly known for his honesty. Maybe he just said that to make the Upside Down less appealing to stray travelers. Whatever the truth, we're just glad everyone gets right side up without harm. On this high note, we will switch to our giveaway part of our video. This portable Wi-Fi projector could be yours. Just follow these easy steps. First, subscribe to our channel, Awesome Movies on YouTube. Second, follow our Instagram page, OSSA.tv. The link is in the description. Third, like this video. Fourth, leave a comment under this video suggesting an idea for our next Awesome Movies video, either about Stranger Things or any other movie or TV show. It's as easy as that.
Easy peasy, right?
Whoever has the best suggestion will win a cool portable Wi-Fi projector. Giveaway closes on July 27th. But that's not all. If you don't win a projector, you can still win one of these upside-down hoodies, or this cool retro VHS nightlight lamp. 2 hoodies and 1 lamp will be given randomly to 3 lucky folks out there who've done all 4 of our easy steps. One last thing, only 1 comment per viewer. Please make sure your channel subscriptions both on YouTube and Instagram are public. Read the details in the description, and good luck! Where is Dr. Brenner? Sure, the first season ends with his supposed death, but we never see a body, so it's not like we have solid evidence. Besides, death has been used to hide the truth before. We're looking at you, Will. So is he really dead? The simple answer, no. The Duffer Brothers confirmed in an interview with Collider that our least favorite scientist is not actually dead. Although, if you follow their trail of breadcrumbs, it's easy enough to work out on your own. In the second season, Callie and Eleven are told by Brenner's colleague that the Doctor is alive, right before Callie managed to create an image of him for Eleven's benefit. Though his appearance could be written off as a trick or illusion on Callie's part, throw your mind back to Brenner explaining that Eleven, and thus probably the other test subjects, could only trace people who are still alive. So it's a given that he's not dead, but where exactly has he been all this time? If you consider that someone had to have told the Russians about the gate and Hawkins, and that the Russians admitted to having an American prisoner, we have a pretty good idea where he's been this whole time. Why didn't anyone notice that Hawkins was becoming a mini Russia? It seems a little unbelievable that a huge Russian laboratory and base, if all those security guards are anything to go by, could be constructed and manned without anyone in Hawkins being suspicious about the influx of Russians into the town, especially at a time when the country had such tensions with Russia. Surely, the Russian scientists and builders would have needed supplies, food, and housing. And yet, despite their telltale accents, nobody in Hawkins seems concerned about all the foreigners. Either the Hawkins townspeople are super chill with anything out of the ordinary, which, let's face it, seems true, or this is a massive oversight. Why hide a top-secret base under a mall? And while we're on the subject, why was this secret Russian base under a very public and very accessible mall? What, there weren't any abandoned factories in Hawkins that they could have used as a cover or a farm or something? It seems impossible that they could uphold any kind of security or privacy with a base under a mall. But then again, these are the same people whose communications were cracked and base infiltrated by a group of kids. Maybe the whole question of the Russians is just one big ugly plot hole. I mean, they record their messages in a freaking mall so that there's distinctive carousel music in the background instead of an office in their super secure below ground base? I'm calling it. The storyline with the Russians was just disappointing. Who else knows about the gate to the Upside Down? Okay, so the not quite believable Russians were experimenting around the gate, but what else do they know? And are they the only ones who are aware of it? It seems likely that Dr. Brenner was their source of information, but however they're getting the information from him, not gonna rule out torture to be honest. Are they the only ones he told? Will we see another country's involvement later? I sure hope not. If the mall was good enough for the entire third season of Stranger Things, it's a good enough place for us to point out some more issues. Do Robin and Steve have a boss? When they're not saving the world or being abducted by Russians, these two spend remarkably little time actually working. And we can't be the only ones who notice. Do our favorite stripy uniform duo close the store when they leave for their adventures, or does someone else manage it? It's hard to believe they'd get away with those shenanigans if they had a manager, or anyone actually supervising them. Sure, there's a chance that one of them is actually a senior employee, but wouldn't there be customer complaints about an ice cream parlor that's closed and devoid of staff more often than it's open? The only possible explanation for no one really caring that Scoops Ahoy was closed is that the ice cream wasn't good, and I refuse to believe that. How did Eleven and Max afford an epic shopping spree? Can any 80s show be complete without a fun montage? Probably not. Which was why Max and Eleven's trip to the mall for some much needed girl time was so heartwarming. But there's something bothering us about this epic shopping spree. How exactly did two teenagers afford to purchase an entire new wardrobe complete with accessories? Because we need to know that secret. Neither Max nor Eleven, obviously, have summer jobs. And while it's possible that Max's parents give her an allowance, we can't imagine Hopper giving Eleven money for shopping when he doesn't even like the idea of her leaving the house. One option is that both girls just happen to have some cash lying around, you know, from like gifts or something. Or that Max helped Eleven to pay, which makes this material girl moment so much sweeter. Where does the Byers family and Eleven move to? It may have taken Joyce a little longer to realize that perhaps Hawkins wasn't a good fit for her family, but she eventually connected the dots and sold the house to move somewhere less strange. But where is this new home? And does being away from Hawkins mean that everything will finally be normal? The confirmation of a fourth season of the show makes this move feel like a red herring. But maybe Hawkins, Indiana isn't the only place that has a connection to the Upside Down. In fact, what if it's the people and not the place that affects the gate? While the move could be a very clever way to broaden the geography of the show, I mean, we've already been introduced to the Russians, will it mean that the next season isn't set in Hawkins? Or will it mean, as we fear, that the Byers family will return and continue their fight against the Upside Down, making the entire move nothing but an empty gesture to end a season? Sad. Did 11 really lose her powers? Season 3 concludes with a no longer psychic 11, and although no direct reason is given, it's implied that when she removes the last piece of the Mind Flayer from her leg, that somehow her powers went with it. Given the Mind Flayer's connection to its host's brain and the enormous power of 11's gray matter, this is a definite possibility that we're willing to accept. But are her powers gone forever? While the idea of 11 having a normal life is attractive, this seems like a pretty lazy and somewhat cruel way to introduce her to the world of normalcy. So we're hoping that this is just a temporary loss caused by her overexerting herself while dealing with a Mind Flayer. Sadly, we'll have to wait for the next season to learn the truth. Have you spotted an unlikely plot hole that we missed? Maybe it'll be explained in the upcoming season of Stranger Things. But until then, we can only speculate. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay awesome!